Okay, so I've been trying to make a video on how to stop a hive from swarming for uh, the entire swarm season. And things just got too hectic and, crazy. Timing was bad, weather was bad, and it just wasn't easy enough for me to make a video where I could get what I had to get done and produce good material. So I just found a hive in swarm mode. I'm not going to put it all back together again and pretend, oh, look, I already did the inspection. I saw swarm cells, so I know it's already in a swarm mode. So I just want to catch you up to speed because I don't want it to be confusing because I already took the hive apart. So this box right here and this box, this was my top brood box, that was the bottom brood box. That was the honey super. This is just a box that I use that's spare to put frames into. I have over there the nuke already set up. That's going to be the new home for the queen when I find her in there and build out the nuke. The only thing that you missed here was me finding the queen cells. There was 2 frames. I found one with 2 cells and I saved them because I didn't know how many more there would be. That's that one right there. And then going through that top box, I found another frame with a whole line of cells on this. Now I did not tear out any queen cells yet. As I was going through inspecting, I was tearing some little little, real small ones out. And then that's where I'm at right now. All right, so this video angle looks pretty good. It's just the boxes and no me. Now, I just want to point out and mention, you have to keep in mind that when they go into a swarm mode, they starve the queen a little bit. So she can slim down and take flight when they decide that they're going to take off. I am fairly certain that the queen is still here because the population isn't really low, and I still see eggs. The population's not like overflowing because for whatever reason, this hive already swarmed once, and now they're swarming again. So this was a new queen from about a month ago. It looked like they had room. So I just want to reiterate from past videos, swarming is not an individual event. You have to look at it as a mode. These bees are going to swarm. There's nothing you can do to stop them except remove the queen. If you were just to go and tear out all the queen cells, they would just build more if she was still present. And there was young larvae at least present. If she's not present and there's no young larvae, she already swarmed a while ago, and you tear out those cells, well, now you just made your hive queenless. So when looking for the queen, don't forget to check the sides of your boxes too. I may have to go through this a couple times. I went through this box already and I didn't find her. But I put the cover back on, let them calm down a little bit. Maybe she'll move to a different spot. She might be hiding in some little nook or cranny. When I did go through here, I did see one frame with, on the bottom box, eggs and larvae. And it had, that's where she was probably last because this top box didn't have, it only had like older larvae and some capped brood. Doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to be there now because I've said in a past video, try not to guess what frame she's on because you're going to find yourself looking at that frame really hard and kind of just skimming over the other frames. I do anyway, so maybe you're different. If you want to move them around, there's a clump of bees, just give a little gentle, blow on them. Okay, so I found the queen. I will try to point her out. Oh, I lost her again. And she's pretty small. Here she is right there. So now, unfortunately, this frame has the queen cells on it. But it's the one with only a single cell on it. So I'm going to take it out. Just crush it and kill it. I got like 4 good ones on that other frame. So I'm just checking the frame real good to make sure there's no like little tiny emergency cell looking type cells. And it doesn't seem to be that way. The last thing you want to do is put a swarm cell in your new nuke. I'm certain there's no swarm cells on here, because when I looked through the first time and I couldn't find her, and I was going through, this is the first frame I saw, and I looked really good. So I'm looking really good now, and there's none. So we're just going to take this whole frame and put it in our nuke box. And this is going to be our new nuke box. I already had a frame put in here because when I was going through this hive, one of the end frames had honey and pollen, honey and some open nectar and a lot of pollen actually. So I pre-selected that frame ahead of time. So we got a little bit of capped brood. So we're going to turn that inward. So now this hive already has honey, stores, some pollen, we got some capped brood, and we have the queen. Now, this is the part where you just relax. You're cool now, you know? So now what we're going to do is pick our 2 cells that we like. I do want to go through this box real quick. Now, for the sake of demonstration, I'm not going to shake the frames off. Sometimes I might actually do that just to make sure I catch all the cells. It's not that important, because if you have any left over, you're going to have another opportunity to tear those out, because we have to revisit this hive in several days. There's still eggs and young larvae present. So even though we took the queen out and we're selecting our 2 swarm cells, they still will view this hive as queenless, and they're probably going to go ahead and make emergency cells. And for every emergency cell or swarm cell, there's a potential for what we call an after swarm. Bottom box up. Now what I like to do is put my swarm cells, the chosen ones, on the bottom box. And the reason for that is just for like what I said, we have to go back in this box at some point. And we don't want to damage these cells. And there's just so much more room in the bottom box when that cell hangs down. Like they're not going to go and draw it out. They're not going to build comb onto the bottom frame. So I'm going to keep these 2 cells just because they're capped. And there's a couple on this side that I'm just going to tear. Where'd you go? There's one. Tear out. It's just the 2. Okay. Again, you're going to have an opportunity to come back in here. The queen cells are very protected. Now it's just a matter of building this hive out. And we're obviously going to have to put 5 new frames and foundation in. If you have drawn comb, that would be better. Unless you're on a super awesome flow and you're looking to have a wax builder. But I don't have any drawn comb. So as you know, that stuff is worth its weight in gold. So we're going to take this. These seem like all honey frames. Just to recap, found swarm cells in this hive right here. Took the honey super off. I broke the hive down. I moved aside those swarm cells because they are almost as much as a priority as the queen, especially if she had stopped laying or already took off. So they are, I'm going to say, actually as much of a priority as a queen. So broke the boxes apart, went through, found my queen, put her over into that nuke box right there. We're going to get a cover on that in a second. And started building out that nuke. Now there's only 2 frames in that nuke because I'm not happy with the performance of this hive in the first place. And it didn't even give me a lot of capped brood to donate over to that hive. So we're going to just kind of close that one up. And as I do my inspections, I'll find some hives that need some relieving, and we will equalize into that nuke.